There we go. All right. Well, let's open with prayer and then we'll get started. Good and gracious God, we thank you for this day. We ask that you would be in this conversation, that we would learn something that we can take out into the world and use. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve your people who are in need. It is in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And I'm just going to let Crystal introduce herself and we will get started.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm familiar with some of you, but those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Crystal Heft, and I am a family navigator with the National Alliance on Mental Illness here in Greater Toledo. I've been with NAMI for about 3 years, and prior to that, I have, oh goodness, now over 20 years experience in mental health and the social services field and working with children, families, and just the community at large. So today, the Mental Health Faith Council is presenting mental health resources for the faith community. And today we're specifically going to be focused on NAMI as a national organization, and we're going to be highlighting some of the things that they offer specifically for mental health resource navigation and the faith community. And then we're going to highlight some of the programs that NAMI Greater Toledo offers. So Sherry and I will both be presenting on those. So some of this information you may already be familiar with, but it never hurts to know it again. And then some of this may be new to you. Okay, so we're going to start with NAMI, what the national programs are. So NAMI was formed in 1977. With 2 young mothers, each with a son that had schizophrenia. They met over lunch and they were just discussing the challenges that they shared raising a child with a mental illness. They were actually deemed the NAMI mommies. I thought that was kind of cute. And then today, NAMI is the largest grassroots organization dedicated to building better lives for millions of individuals and families impacted by mental illness. So where are we? Our national office is located in Arlington, Virginia. We have state offices in all 50 states. And so our office is located in Ohio. The state office is located in Columbus. We have more than 1,200 local affiliates. And then we also have locations outside the United States, Mexico, Canada, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and the District of Columbia. So we are pretty visible now all across the nation. So what does NAMI do? We provide advocacy, education, support, and public awareness so that all individuals and families are affected by mental illness can build better lives. And the advocacy and piece is especially important to NAMI National. They do a lot of advocacy with the federal government, and then the state affiliates do a lot of advocacy within the state government, especially on mental health parity, and now even more with substance abuse services as well. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to highlight, as I was telling Sherry before, NAMI National does a really nice job of providing comprehensive and evidence-based programming. They put a lot of research into the documents they put out, the articles they put out. So it is a very reliable resource when you're looking to get some information, or for your loved one, for yourself, for anyone you're dealing with in the community. And this guide, I'm not quite sure how old it is, but it is called Navigating a Mental Health Crisis. We have actually started using this guide as part of what we hand out in Greater Toledo at the end of a class that we do called Family and Friends. So this guide outlines what can contribute to a crisis, warning signs, strategies to help de-escalate a crisis, and available resources. And it goes over things such as if your loved one is missing, if your loved one has been picked up by the police. I think it has a section for housing. So it has a lot of comprehensive resources available. And what's nice is there's a link which is going to be at the end of this PowerPoint, and we're going to be sharing the PowerPoint with you so you can just have that access. And then when you go to that link, it has a page with a lot of different other resources, but then it also has this guide that's available to download, and it's available in English and Spanish. So we also have a program through NAMI National that you may or may not know about called NAMI FaithNet. And Sherry's going to talk a little bit more about that. And then she's actually going to take us to the FaithNet website and walk us through that.
Yeah, we have talked for years about FaithNet and this resource, and I have just now started to spend some time on the website, and there are tons of resources. So I am going to actually just walk us through how to, oh, yep, I got to share my screen now. And if I can find my, hold on a second. There we go. That's the page I want. So let me see if I can find it now. Oh, okay. So what you're going to do is just go to a regular browser, type in NAMI FaithNet, and this, then you click on the link and come up to this. This is the home page for NAMI FaithNet. And you can see it's interfaith resources, and there really are resources for both faith leaders as well as folks living with mental illness up here, support and education. So as you can see, so individuals with mental illness, family members, caregivers, veterans. So Mary Pat, I see you on this call. They have lots of resources for veterans and those in active duty. Support and education. And so I just highly recommend that you go to this website and spend some time here. I'm also going to point out a couple other things. Along the left side then are really more of the faith-related resources. And if you click here, we have how to be inclusive and welcoming. And so again, it just gives, you can use this page for your faith community, checking in with family members. It's really just giving resources on things to think about as our faith communities wish to become more open and to those living with mental illness, as well as breaking the stigma, which we'll talk about, which is just a huge thing. So there's that kind of resource. There is inspirational and healing prayers. Particularly, I wanted to show you this prayer for, let's see, that's not it. Simple. So they have sample services. Oh, this is really cool. A sample participatory interfaith service. So this is actually a how to have an interfaith service on mental illness, and gives you really all of the scripture to use, how to put together memorial moments, and things like that. So again, just a really great resource. The other thing I wanted to show you is go back to the home page. Oh, that was it. Okay, so then if you scroll down, there's also FaithNet awareness bulletins in both, this is the color one, so it gives a little education about mental illness in our country right now and the suicide rates. as well as knowing the warning signs. So these are great little tools, and it comes in black and white too if you don't want to print it in color. But if you click on this NAMI Leaders page, it gives you some great tools for educating our faith communities through this Bridges of Hope. And again, so what is Bridges of Hope? It's more resources, educating faith communities about mental illness, and these PowerPoint presentations and training are really simple to use. So I'm going to open this Bridges of Hope. It's a PowerPoint that can be personalized to your community of faith, and it talks about what is FaithNet, what is NAMI, and then again, lots of education on what is mental health, what factors contribute. And it not only gives you these great graphics, but it also gives you, see at the bottom there, some notes on what to say with each slide. So this really can be personalized to your faith community. What symptoms to look for, but then it gets into the spiritual questions. Where is God? How can my faith help? Which are not kind of normal questions that we raise when we are talking about mental illness. So again, it's just, and then it actually gives, we're talking about the stigma-free, what can we do? And then some examples. I think it's Saddleback Church and how they became a welcoming congregation. So again, I just highly recommend that website. And it's really easy. Just open a browser, type in NAMI FaithNet, and you have lots of resources available to you. And back to you, Crystal.
Right. Okay, so those are just some things that I wanted to highlight through the national website and resources that they put out. And now we're going to move on to NAMI Greater Toledo. Okay, so as I mentioned, what is NAMI? We are a grassroots nonprofit organization. Where are we located? So our office is located at 2753 West Central Avenue. Some of you in the area may be familiar with that. We share a building with Neighborhood Properties, which is another social service organization that helps many individuals with housing and a variety of peer support programs. There's our phone number and our website. But we have been working remotely for over a year now. So you can still get in touch with us at that phone number, but I can also share in the chat I have a work cell that is, or also my email is probably better. And if you go to our website, or we also have a Facebook page, and I think you can contact us through either one of those. We do check that regularly as well. Okay, so our history locally, we began in 1982 as an organization called Building on Our Strengths Together. And then we became affiliated with the Alliance for the Mentally Ill, which was a local branch of the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And we have been an affiliate ever since then. There are some NAMIs that choose not to be affiliated. I'm not sure why that is. I feel like we get a lot of support from national. So we have been named the affiliate of the year 4 times by NAMI Ohio. Okay, so what is our mission here at Greater Toledo? Our mission is to promote wellness for individuals and family members who are living with mental illness through dedicated support, education, and advocacy in the Greater Toledo area. So we do cover, even though we say Greater Toledo, we cover all of Lucas County. So what do we offer? We offer education, We offer support and we offer advocacy, and we do this in a variety of ways. And these 3 pillars are also the pillars of the foundation of NAMI National as well. So I'm just going to walk you through some of the education classes that we offer. So the first one I want to start with is NAMI Basics. This is for any parent or caregiver or child or adolescent living with a mental illness. This is typically a 6-week class. It is facilitated by family members or parents, and it provides insight on biology, treatment options, communication, advocacy, and self-care. And the advocacy that we really focus on in this class is mainly geared towards 504 plans, individualized education plans, and even getting maybe a psychological assessment done, you know, through the school if that's needed. Moving on to our family to family class. So this is for any family member, spouse, caring for an adult loved one with a mental illness. So this is a little bit longer of a class. It's typically 12 weeks. I think we have combined this to 8 weeks now, and sometimes it's even offered twice a week. So that can cut down the time a little bit because it is a pretty intensive class. This is also facilitated by family members. I have taught this class myself before. This provides similar insight as does the basics class: biology, medication, treatment, problem solving, communication, advocacy, and self-care. The reason why these classes are so long is because we want to provide ample opportunity for sharing, because this class is for education, but it's also focused on support and empathy too. So we want to make sure that we're creating a safe space, not only to give information to people, but for people to share their experiences. So NAMI Family and Friends is a newer class from NAMI National, and this is for individuals that care for loved ones with mental illness. So this is more geared towards maybe someone who is not in a primary caregiver role, but still is acting as an advocate or a support. Or we also tell people who are interested in learning more about what we offer, or just more about what it's like to navigate the recovery process, to come and check this class out. This is a 5-hour seminar, and once again is facilitated by family members and professionals. So that is NAMI staff. I just facilitated this class today. It provides insight on effective communication, self-care, crisis preparation, NAMI, and community resources. So this is also a good class if you're newer to the mental health system, or if you are working with someone who is newly diagnosed, or maybe they're experiencing their first crisis situation. So now we're going to move on to some other ways we educate people in the community. So namiStigmaFree Company is a partnership initiative to cultivate company culture of caring and enhanced engagement around mental health. I am charged with facilitating this. I've built relationships through this initiative with some large corporations, some schools, and some other social service organizations around the area. This is something that I am very proud to work with, because, you know, as a culture, we spend a lot of time at work. And sometimes, you know, we take our whole self there. We don't just leave our problems at the door, and sometimes our conflict arises at work. So it's really, really important for companies to know the value of creating a wellness initiative that includes mental health services and mental health awareness, and make that part of their overall wellness initiative. And I am proud to say that there are a lot of companies that are working really hard to achieve this. And what's nice is most of these companies that I've presented to, you know, it's nice for them because I'm able to validate what they're already doing. and then give them some ideas to kind of enhance that. But then we're creating, like I said, a partnership and a community collaboration. So we're giving them education and resources. And then oftentimes they give their time to us, and they also support us financially so we can continue to do this work in the community at no charge. So it is a really nice partnership. So just some objectives of this is to increase productivity and promote a healthier work environment, decrease the impact of disability, increase retention and engagement of valued employees, and strengthen the company brand by linking to a cause that resonates with many. Okay, so we kind of covered a lot of education, and we, as I mentioned, we educate people who are impacted by mental health. We educate companies, we educate schools. We just are trying to really bust the stigma and generate a more normalization of communicating about mental health in really all areas of the community. So along with education, it's really important to have support. As I mentioned, NAMI's foundation is creating a safe space for empathy and sharing experiences. So how do we do that here at Greater Toledo? Well, we have a variety of support groups. Our NAMI Connections group is a support group for adults with mental illness, regardless of their diagnosis. There are places that do diagnosis specific, but we think it's just important for everyone to feel included. And, you know, there are so many overlapping symptoms and behaviors with a variety of illnesses that, you know, it's easy to find something where you can relate, even if your experience isn't quite the same. So then we also offer a family support group. This is probably one of our biggest attended support groups. This is for family members who are supporting loved ones with a diagnosis. And then we also have a group for young adults. We actually changed that, 18 to 29, experiencing mental health challenges. The reason why we separated this group out from our larger adult group, and you can also participate in either one, is because this is a crucial time period in someone's life, as you guys know, and your brain is still developing, and you're also trying to develop your identity, and you're building relationships. And oftentimes this is where the onset of a lot of mental illnesses occur, in this time frame. So we want to make sure that we give, you know, young adults a space to feel supported, to feel like they have people, you know, that look like them, that think like them. And this group, as with all of our other groups, are run by peers. So that means this group is run by young adults who are in recovery and who kind of understand the mental health system and what it's like to live with a mental health condition. The same with our family support group, that's also run by family members. And then I attend once a month in order to provide support and resources. And then our NAMI Connections group is also facilitated by peers. That is another cornerstone of NAMI. In order to work with us, volunteer with us, teach our classes, you have to have some sort of connection to mental health, whether you yourself are living with a mental health condition or you are supporting someone. And right now, just one other thing I want to mention about our groups. All of our groups right now are running virtually. They've been running that way for almost a year now. And some people do prefer the in-person connection, but we have transitioned pretty successfully. And we've actually been able to reach a broader audience and some people that we haven't been able to reach before because of, you know, certain barriers they may have had with our time or just getting to our groups. So along with, you know, just talking and creating the connection of a more traditional support group, NAMI did some research and they found that sometimes it's really difficult for you to express yourself and put, you know, articulate your feelings and your thoughts. And so art can be a great way to kind of start that conversation. It's something tangible, and it has a lot of other benefits as well. So it's a non-threatening way for people living with mental health challenges to increase their natural supports, promote self-expression, and identify positive coping skills. So we offer this in a variety of ways as well. We have a monthly group that's open to teens and adults called Create Now. That used to be at the eBide Institute that was run through ProMedica. Now that is offered virtually. We also partner now with a lot of other organizations who are serving the community to offer specialized groups. Thomas Wernert Center is one of those. It's a peer support center. So we used to partner with them in person, but now we do individual groups with them as well. And then we also offer a Creative Kids series. My daughter actually participates in this, and it's open to children 6 to 17 and their caregivers. And so these are really great ways, especially once again, if you're new to NAMI, you want to check NAMI out. I also, even if you don't have to have a mental health diagnosis to participate. So, self-care is kind of really buzzworthy right now. So this is a great way to participate in that. And it's a great way to connect with your loved one. If you are having some struggles in your relationship or some challenges with that, it's a great way to do something together and kind of build a connection. That's one of the reasons I do it with my daughter. It's our special time with just the two of us, and then it creates an opportunity for us to kind of talk about the topic that's related to the project, because all of the projects are really thoughtfully planned, and we actually partner with an art therapist for a lot of these groups. And so the topics are related to those things like self-esteem and anger management, and just exploring some coping skills and some feelings. So while they are therapeutic, they're not therapy. Another program that we have, which is a program of NAMI Ohio, is called Kid Shop Teen Shop. So this was a 6-week program and in person. Now it is also offered virtually. It is for children and adolescents living with a diagnosis or living with a loved one with a diagnosis. And it is facilitated by compassionate and empathetic adults, and they all have to go through pretty extensive training. What's really neat about some of those adults is I know that they serve in other aspects, a lot of them in the community. Some of them are therapists, firefighters, police officers, professors. So it is a very diverse group of adults that facilitate these groups. And they provide hands-on activities and discussions to promote mental health education, coping tools, and positive peer relationships. So oftentimes they will also partner with other providers and speakers in the community on certain topics. I know they've done one on self-harm, a lot of the anger management, goal setting, decision-making. What's also neat is a lot of times the parents either are included with the session with the kids, or they have a breakout session that's also related to the topic, but they have their own opportunity to kind of talk about how that topic is impacting their relationship with their kids. Then there's me, and I also have a partner. Her name is Afaf, and we work together in the community to provide mental health education, resource connections, advocacy, and sometimes I get those calls that really just don't have a resource that would be effective or even a positive solution. So sometimes I just provide a listening ear, and sometimes that can be just as powerful as getting them connected. So the advocacy piece I'd like to touch on just a little bit too is, for me, a lot of times that means working within the systems, especially the client's rights officers, and just having conversations about maybe some of the barriers that people are experiencing with getting access, you know, getting the quality. So we just work to problem solve some of those barriers and kind of eliminate them. And then I do also work with the mental health board a lot for some problem solving. And I am happy to say that a lot of issues have been able to be resolved, or at least been brought to some more awareness, where the local systems can work within themselves too, to kind of take a more critical look at, you know, some of the things that maybe policies that need to be changed, or just improving that communication within that agency. So now Sherry is going to talk about another group that we have that's partnered with NAMI Greater Toledo that I am also a part of, the Mental Health Faith Council.
Yeah, so the Mental Health Faith Council actually was established about 15 years ago by Bonnie and Bill Kinchner, who were members at Hope Lutheran Church here in Toledo. And they had children with some mental illness and found that the faith community needed a little help on being welcoming and really addressing the needs of families living with mental illness in their family. And so they started this effort with the mission to erase the stigma of mental illness within our diverse faith communities through awareness, education, and partnership with mental health providers and professionals. And over these 15 years, this council has kind of morphed into a really interesting group of faith leaders, treatment providers, and family members and peers, all really interested in the intersection of faith and mental health. And so we meet on a monthly basis. It's the second Thursday of every month at 10 o'clock. And in order to erase the stigma, we provide different opportunities for learning in our community, particularly faith communities, including these lunch and learns, which of course last year we used to do them face-to-face and we provided lunch, but until we can do that again, they have been virtual. And we do have a year's worth of presentations scheduled. They are the last Thursday of the month, usually at 11:30 to 12:30. But we had a schedule conflict this week, so it's worked out well. So Lunch and Learns community dialogues are when some of the folks from the Mental Health Faith Council will come out to a faith community. It could be a Bible study or a Sunday school class or the women's group or whatever. Any group that is interested in learning, again, about this intersection of faith and mental health. And it can be as educational or conversational as you would like it to be. And so we can have, prior conversations about really what your interest is in the dialogue that you would have to have. But it is a dialogue. So a dialogue means participation. So there is presentation, but it is also helpful to really engage in conversation about mental health and faith. And then we have an annual conference, and that happens the Thursday before Thanksgiving, I think. Yes, the week before Thanksgiving. It used to be in October, but it is now in November. Last year was on ambiguous loss, which was just a really fascinating topic given the year that we were living through. And this year, we're going to focus on recovery, and we're all recovering from something. And whether it's an addiction or a loss, recovery is just major. And so we have ideas for speakers and things, but that's still developing. But you're more than welcome to come to our monthly meetings and or participate in our lunch and learns. So thanks.
Great, thanks, Sherry. Okay, another way that NAMI reaches out in all aspects actually to provide education advocacy and support is through our community outreach initiatives. A lot of them are population focused, and particularly 3 populations that we are working really hard to eliminate the barriers, to, you know, like I said, to normalize those mental health conversations and to encourage people to connect with mental health treatment is the African American population, Latino population, and then the Arab American population, especially we have a large population of refugees in our community, and the other family navigator is working with some other agencies to eliminate some of those barriers. And as I mentioned, we also have an outreach coordinator that works with the Latino and then the African American community. And we have several mental health forums that are focused on those communities. We just had an amazing one that the African American Leadership Initiative put on, I think it was last month, that was focused on men's health. Because that is an area definitely that, you know, can be neglected at times, and it's really difficult for men to, you know, admit that they need help and they need support, because a lot of times they're looked at as the problem solvers. So that is one of the areas that we're focusing on specifically this year. And I think later this year we will be having our Latino mental health forum. And we are also members of a lot of different diversity initiatives. The Mental Health Board actually has a pretty extensive diversity initiative that we are a part of. And there's a lot of other community groups where we collaborate with other members of the community, especially other treatment providers and support institutions, in order to improve access and, you know, not only making mental health more accessible and making those conversations more normal or typical, but also making the outcome better as well. So not only making it accessible, but keeping people engaged. How can we keep people engaged, and how can we keep people feeling supported in our community, and making sure that our community is culturally competent, especially with the providers that are, where those individuals are utilizing those services, and making sure that those outcomes are successful for people. Another way we build awareness is our annual walk, and some of you may be familiar with it, and some of you may have even participated before, so thank you for that. It is our annual mental health awareness and fundraising event. Typically, it is held at the University of Toledo, and we have a very large participation, typically over 1,000 friends, family, and community members participate. We typically have tables and activities, and it's a huge, really fun event. But last year and again this year, it's going to be virtual, but that doesn't mean that it still can't be interesting and engaging. So I encourage you, if you're interested, to please check that out. I have, I think I might have some information at the end, or I think I gave Sherry some information to send out for that. It will be May 22nd, and the theme is mental health for all, because mental health does impact all of us, especially, you know, over the year that we've been dealing with the pandemic. People who may have not thought of themselves to have any issues with their mental health, or they may have thought that it was positive and they felt really stable and had a good grasp of their coping skills, are being impacted, you know, with different stressors and the constant transition of unknowns, and just, you know, anxiety and worry over safety and well-being of themselves, their families, and even their community. So it definitely, mental health definitely is part of your overall well-being. So 90% of the profits remain local to fund programs and initiatives to improve education and supports for those impacted by mental health. So that is, like I said, another great way if you aren't as familiar with us as you'd like to be, to contact us to get involved with that, because it is really amazing to see all the different partners that we have, and that we depend on those relationships for collaboration. And we don't claim to know everything either. So a lot of those people we reach out to for education as well. And as I mentioned, program development. So it's really nice to be able to see that sense of community that we're building. So as I mentioned, here's some of the resources that we went over. So the website is up there for NAMI National, and they are a wonderful educational tool. They have blogs, they have stories, articles that are both more research-based and clinical-based, and more just, you know, aimed at families and caregivers and all different types of audience. You can even search by the audience. You can search by the mental health condition. You can search by what kind of document you're looking for. It is a really extensive website. And like I said, it is reliable information that has been researched. There's the link for the Navigating a Mental Health Crisis guide. There is the website for NAMI FaithNet, and then there is our website. As I mentioned, we are going through a transition and updates, but we have social media, and then you can also reach out to me directly if you'd like more information. And I also sent Sherry some flyers on our programs that I went over during the presentation. I did give out general flyers because sometimes our information changes as we transition, of course, too. So, but there is contact information on every single one of those flyers. And you can always contact me and I can direct you to the right person for that information. Okay, so that's all we have as far as information. If anyone has any questions or any feedback. Stop sharing.